Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Good evening, election night. Is everyone excited? Yeah. Yay. How late is everyone prepared to stay up to 1, 2, 3 a.m.? All right. We have a lot. We have, hey Sean, welcome. We have a good amount to discuss tonight. So let's kind of kick it off with reviewing of the October board meeting minutes. You've all had a chance to look over the minutes. Does anyone have any corrections or additions? Okay. So
On page 5, someone at the very last, it's Dr. Winstead.
thank you.
And on page 7, under the resignation information, 4 board members and 3 outside members. We had 7 members on the committee, and then there's a couple of spelling, Anjali's names. Stephanie is not spelled.
Okay.
But that's spelling it.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? I have one addition that need to call notice to, in relation to the motion that we made last time for Anjanae as interim director. I've been in contact with county HR and Mayor Mitchell's office, and in front of you all are the human resource, the HR compensation policy. So the motion that was put on the table was a 15% raise for interim for 3 months, pending HR approval, going to a 20% raise thereafter. Per HR policies for the county government, with the step increase and the grade increase, we can only increase Anjanae's salary to 15% currently right now. So we need to make a revision of that motion, if all are in agreement.
Can we discuss that? Because I don't read that way.
We can discuss it, yeah, I think we need a motion first, for the discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
So the motion and second is to pay interim director at 15% from now until the spot is filled, and into the, I guess you would say, we're not going to put a time frame on it. So 15% raise for the interim director. Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, under the temporary assignment position, and that's what this would be. It says that it can go pretty much anywhere you want it to go. And I think that's where it falls into, doesn't fall into a step up promotion. Doesn't fall into any of these categories.
So in conference with the mayor's office, their recommendation is if we would like to after 3 months, then again,
Yeah, I don't think that's acceptable. I'm sorry. And we've had that discussions before with the mayor's office, and I don't think any of these qualify.
On the last page.
Last page is temporary assignments, right?
Mhm.
And that's what this is, and that's where it should fall. I don't think they should be able to dictate what what she's doing 2 jobs, not 1. And so it's not a step up. And it's not a step down for sure. And so she would be able to handle 2 positions, and I think 5% is just not acceptable, and it doesn't fall into any of these categories.
Not 5%.
No, it's
it'd
not.
be
15%.
It's
It's
15.
15.
It's
It's 5% plus 2.5% for the different grades. I understand.
That's right.
So it would be
It's
15%.
15%.
Oh, it ends up with the total, okay.
It does,
Yeah,
it
never
follows,
mind.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, it follows the policy pretty clearly stated,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table of interim director being Anjanae's salary raised to 15%. And we have a second, or any other discussion? Would you like to take a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carried for Anjanae receiving 50%. Right? We will notify HR to be effective of our Manny's last day of November 8th. So Anjanae, I guess the next day, because you guys have weekends scheduled as well. Is that right? November 8th?
The 11th is
11th?
technically, yeah.
The 11th? Okay.
Veterans Day, so.
Doesn't
Hey,
say
Because you add,
That'd be over the
well,
weekend.
the weekend explanation, you add 2.5% for each step, and she, I think, qualified for like
it's only one step.
4 steps or 4
Right.
grades, 4 grades,
Four grades.
so it equals 15%.
So if we wanna get in, so her salary is raising, we can tweak significantly we can talk about that offline if you want
Okay, I know,
one-on-one.
I mean, if it's guaranteed 15%, I don't have
It is,
I don't have any argument, but I don't read it that way, but
the specific salary has been discussed
Okay.
with the mayor's office, the amount. Okay, are there any other corrections or additions in the minutes? All right, moving on, Manny, I'll pass it over to you for your report. Your
So,
last report.
my last, yeah, this is my official, unless you have a special meeting by Friday. But we all know tonight's the election, and actually more importantly, in the children's department, they had an election as well. Between Charlotte the Spider, Dog Man, and the Pigeon, so I don't know who won, but,
Pretty good.
Charlotte.
three very good Charlotte.
Very good.
Yeah,
Charlotte.
won.
Charlotte,
Charlotte
yay,
won.
way to go, Charlotte.
And speaking of elections, we survived barely the early voting that just finished on Halloween, which is quite interesting. We had lines wrap around the building. Parking was very creative, our voters finding places to park on the grass, across the street. It was pretty hectic, along with the construction going on at the same time. Obviously, we had some tempers and moods flare up during early voting. And thank Maryville PD for being here and helping out in any way they could. I don't think I'll ever have an early election where I'm going, a voting location. But it was something, seeing people in fox masks and yeah, you can't make this stuff up. So I guess go out with a bang. We also had the Annabelle Smith Literary Festival, which was a success. Thank you, Sarah and Kathleen, because Kathleen started it. And also Sherry McCarter, our writer in resident, and Lisa Lazowski as well. We had a terrific turnout, and then the evening, the Tremont Writers Conference held a forum here at the library, and about 80 people, which was fantastic. The 4 writers were engaging and kept everyone's interest. So I think they want to do it again next year because it was a huge success. So that was very good. Last night we had another Southern Appalachian series. We had a decent crowd again for that. Kudos to Savannah for working on that. Let's see. So as you could tell, when you're driving up, they have started the construction. The book return is gone. So it's gone. They have jackhammered and broke down all the concrete and removed a large stone over there. So they are working hard on that. So they're still looking at the end of the calendar year to be completed. And things have been, I reached out to Denny and things are going very well. So there's no issues there. So I guess at this point, I'm gonna say, this is my last meeting. So I do want to thank foundation. I think you are on to really some great things. I mean, what's going on right now is, you know, with the foundation, working hard on that and future projects. The Friends, at which Vandy's not here tonight, but they have been complete rock stars. And they'll keep up, they're like a machine, and they'll keep doing what they're doing. The cities of Maryville and Alcoa, they have been such great partners. Blount County government, especially Mayor Mitchell and Amy, they have been so welcoming, and everyone there, Don and Jacqueline, and the entire crew there, Brian, it's been really great. Staff, I'll say goodbye to you in a few days, but it's been an amazing run. But I would say for the board, you know, Andy and Stephanie and Lauren, you know, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And what I'm really proud about and what I bragged about up there is we faced a lot of challenges, no pun intended. But what was really awesome is that we all stood together as a team or as a unit. And whether it be challenges with books or an incident, you know, in a bathroom or anything like that, the board, you stood as a team, as a unit, and you didn't break off, which was great. So once, you know, and my advice is keep doing that because you can definitely accomplish so much. So thank you for that. Hopefully when I'm gone, you won't have any of these, all this craziness, but if you do, just stick as a team. And I'm just so proud. And you know, I bragged about you guys up there, and you know, just keep doing what you're doing. And it starts with leadership. Andy, Stephanie, and Lauren have been great leaders of the board, and whoever's gonna take Lauren's place in a year, you know, you have big shoes to fill, but you have a group effort here, and it just goes a long way. It could have went sour and it didn't. So I was so proud working with all of you. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Manny, for your
Thank you.
last. Very sweet. Bill, I'll turn it over to you for your report.
I don't really have much, besides just, I'm gonna be well off also. Just to say thank you to this trustees for your work in really kind of bringing a process that helps the foundation dramatically. The only reason we exist is to give library money. And we don't want to say no, but things come to us that we sense weren't priorities than we did. Now you've got this great process in place that, so we know when it comes to us, it's already been approved by you all, and it's a priority for the library. So we gladly give, and we're so happy that's I've interviewed a couple of new, we have elections also this month, and I've interviewed new board members, so they'll be starting here in a week, and then we'll be starting in June.
Bill, thanks for your leadership with the book drop. Huge project that's going to make an impact on staff and users of the library. So thanks so much, and for everything. We hope there's a new leader with great vision like you, and excited to keep us posted. Okay, I have Vandy's report from the Friends. For those of you who attended the Friends of the Library celebration, there were a handful of us from the board and staff that attended. The Friends celebrated their 50th anniversary with over 170 people at Pellissippi Community College. The funds were raised through event tickets, a silent auction, and direct donations. Founders, board presidents, and lifetime members were all recognized by the Masters of Ceremony, our Manny. I will add to that, the food was wonderful and cooked by the students of Pellissippi Community College. And I mean, it was just a very enjoyable event, from auction to drinks, everything. I think we all had a very good time. And that she doesn't have the amount raised, but it was pretty good. I can't remember the exact amount, but I'm
23,000 over 23 would.
Over 23.
gonna say 20 plus, but okay,
Yeah.
23. And then following that, on the 26th, they hosted the Annabelle Smith Literary Festival with 50 writers, as Manny mentioned. It's in conjunction with the Writer in Residence program, but it's funded by the Friends of the Library. It was a huge success. The Friends of the Library unanimously approved funds for up to $15,000 to support the Board of Trustees in our new library director search, which we will talk about in new business. I'm very thankful for their support there. Mandy wanted me to convey that if that is the appropriate funding, it is for us to utilize. If not, we are welcome to speak to them, but they were very proactive because they do not have a December meeting. And so we really appreciate kind of what they did, Vandy and I and Stephanie and others was step and step with them on getting some initial funding. Dee has been voted in as the president-elect of the Tennessee Friends of the Library and will assume office in January 2025. And the next book sale will be held on Thursday through Saturday, December 5th through the 7th. Thursday is for the Friends members only, and Friday and Saturday open to the public. So we invite trustees to join us for this annual sale. It's an excellent opportunity to purchase holiday gifts. Okay, anything on the Friends of the Library reports? You can email Vandy if I can't answer. Okay, Nikki, would you like to report on the regional aspect?
It's sent to the regional report through email. We have a few trainings coming up. Thank you so much to Blount County for hosting our collection development vendor showcase next week. So we'll be here in this space with vendor representatives that we typically work with. We'll talk about collection development strategies and do presentations throughout the day. We expect to have a large crowd, so we're excited about that. It'll be all about collection development. And the other thing that we've brought for you all is this lovely standards report. So this is a once a year survey that I'm sure Manny is delighted to fill out.
This is what I'm gonna miss the most. Shedding a tear.
I know. I'll send it to you for fun.
Oh, yes.
Just for fun. So the standards report is a benchmarking tool that we use for public libraries, and library directors respond and just say yes or no. The standards are meant to be goals, so not all of them are always met. Typically, Blount County meets just about everything. Having a public fact service, I think, has been a bane for you all for many years because it is a standard. But we can go through it. It's broken down into different sections: governance, planning. You meet everything for governance, everything for planning. Budget is a tricky one, and this is a goal. Practically none of our libraries meet that expenditure at the bottom for 15% of local appropriations expended on materials. So that means that 15% of the appropriated budget from city county is spent on materials for the library. And there are reasons for that for you all. You have generous friends, so you don't have to expend appropriated funds. So it looks a little wonky there, but you still have a healthy collection and it's not truly reflected here. If you want to look at standards for collection, again, very close. The only ones that are slightly off are 5% weeded and 5% added. It's a healthy goal to maintain collection size and say the old things are going out and the new things are coming in, and it's very close. Standards for technology, everything is met except, of course, the public fact service, which I think has haunted you all for quite some time. It's still a standard. It may change in the future as that kind of shifts away from priority. Standards for personnel, again, very lucky to meet all of these, can be adequately staffed. We have many public libraries that are not, even the other level 5 in our region doesn't meet these staffing standards. So we're very lucky there. Community relations, of course, met. And services also met. Facility slightly smaller than half a square foot per capita, but you do exceed the recommended size for your facility, at least 2,500 square feet. I think you have that in your meeting rooms. Yeah. It's it from the region, unless you have questions about the standards. We take them around. It's not like a report card, it's just a goal setting tool. And for you all, it's an opportunity to celebrate all the things you're doing. So that's it from the region, unless you have questions.
Thank you. I think this is important, so thank you. And this is great value to show to our community and elected officials. So I look forward to sharing this with them.
Take it to a lot of libraries and they use it as an advocacy tool to say, hey, this is what we should be doing, but have that.
It's a great bragging tool for happen. Sure. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the agenda, which probably this item is going to take our largest chunk of time. We're going to open up the floor to the director's search discussion. I think during this time, we're going to call an executive session, so to let you guys all know, what we're going to do is we're going to ask Manny to step out during this discussion. The meeting is still recorded, to let you guys know, but it's just for us to be able to talk freely. And so other staff, you're very welcome to stay in this conversation, however you feel comfortable here. But we have gotten some great material from Stephanie on the past library search, and I'm curious if everyone has had the time to kind of look that over and take that into consideration in the spot that we're in now. And so, does anyone have any questions about what Stephanie sent out before we kind of go down this path, particularly new board members on the process that we took last time?
I read all the material. I do have one question. Will the 3 government bodies have a representative in assisting us as far as filling that position?
I think that's up to, this board
Yeah.
to make that decision.
Okay.
At the last search, Jared Anderson, County Commissioner, served on the search committee, as well as Dawn, the board member and County Commission. And we had someone from United Way, Jennifer Wackerhagen. I don't know if you know her, she's the executive director for United Way. And then our third person was yeah.
Judge
Judge Dugan.
Not Tom Taylor.
Judge Dugan.
Yeah,
Judge
Judge
Dugan.
Dugan,
Yeah,
not Tom
yeah.
Taylor.
David Dugan. And then we had 4 board members. And because you have more than one board member on a committee, those were all public meetings. We had to announce them ahead of time and take minutes and that kind of thing. So we're all open meetings. So in answer to your question, I think this is the board to decide who serve on the search committee, if we have a search committee. That's another time before they selected, they contracted with a consultant who kind of led the board through that whole process. So that's another option as well, is to find a consultant that will do that. I will say that Judge Dugan served on that board previously, went through that search with the consultant, and he wasn't real happy with the results of that. So that's why we decided in this previous one to do it ourselves. And we learned a lot.
It was very expensive. Outside.
Yeah.
Consultant, yeah.
We learned a lot through that process. We started from scratch with a lot of the documents and the whole thing that we have now. So I think it took us about 6 months from start to finish, wasn't it, Andy, about
Yeah,
6
it was.
months? I think that's something that we can probably squeeze
And we had at least 30
applicants, yes. And the county very graciously paid for us to advertise it on the one of the library websites. So I think that really reached out to a lot of people, as well as Tennesseans. We used 2 or 3 different listservs. I know Liz posted it on the state's listserv, and we sent it to UT because they have a college of library science as well as Middle Tennessee State. So we tried to use a variety of sources to
And
post.
so search engines.
Yes,
And that was really good.
Yeah.
Everyone nationwide.
So what I would like to present tonight, and what we have 2 paths. We can have another path, a suggestion, but in my mind, we have 2 paths. We can go with search by committee, as we did last time. And we can change the mechanics of that. We can learn from that, or we can utilize a national consulting firm, preferably a different one than used in the past where there was some unhappiness with the outcome. And I think we're finding out who that firm was. Okay. The Friends of the Library has graciously proposed or given us up to $15,000. And with more, once we get quotes back, if that is the way we want to head with a national firm. There are several things to take into consideration. One, time with filling the speed of filling the position with staff culture, uncertainty, needing to have a leader to lead everybody. My time and our board's time right now. So when it comes to capacity, we have some folks who I've had conversations with, and I'll open it up, who are willing to serve in the search committee. My time is very limited right now with my work schedule. I'll just be completely frank with you. But thankfully, Stephanie has agreed to chair the search committee, and Dawn has agreed to serve on the search committee, and it's open to all other members. I will also serve on the search committee, but it took a considerable amount of time. So what we need to discuss tonight is, and we think that both are great winning options. We need to discuss where we'd like to go. We've gotten some great recommendations from Liz, from others on folks who just do searches for executive directors for libraries or library high-ranking positions. I guess you could say executive positions that we could hire to do this, or the Friends could if it's 2025, we don't know. We need your votes. They'll be willing to fund it. Or do we want to do this locally? The county has offered to advertise it the same way as last time. I'm sure you guys will be willing to help post it. We can do that. It's just kind of, I'm gonna open the floor up right now to comments from you all. Anyone have opinions?
Andy, have you got any? You served on the committee, so.
Yeah. We had a lot of resumes come in, and that's the key, is to look at the resumes and to really follow up, make sure that these people are who they say they are, because we got a lot of people who embellished their resumes, and they really weren't qualified. And our qualifications are pretty standard and pretty strict, and that's what we need to look for. And you definitely want, we did a lot of Zoom interviews too, which is a good way to do it. And we got to see how they react in a room full of people who is the committee, but then it was a one on the committee. And that was a good way to do it. I really like that.
I think as a new guy, I would defer to those who have done it before and what their willingness is, because again, without their experience, knowledge and leadership and expertise in doing it, it wouldn't happen. So I think they should have the preponderance of the voices to the method by which we do it. If they think, I mean, obviously the candidates it was a success. So it's repeatable. But the capacity issue is a valid point. So I think it would be really upon those two who did it before and are willing to do it again, if they have the capacity to then lead another search committee.
Look, I'll be completely frank. Dawn, Stephanie and I can't keep this alone. I think we're open to having Mayor of Alcoa County. I think that's a great consideration to have multiple representatives. But this is a tall order. I mean, Dawn's still teaching in school. I mean, people have their everyday responsibilities.
Yeah, I didn't need you to do it
Oh,
alone.
no, this is to everybody. This is like something we really need to consider,
Right.
you know,
But
going over hundreds of resumes.
Oh, exactly, I understand completely, but I would say if they're
meeting,
not willing to.
Yeah.
Then I think that's not an option,
Yeah.
because I don't think it would be a
Good.
viable option
Yeah.
for all new people to come and try and take on the
Yeah.
endeavor.
Yeah.
I think that would not work, so if that's gonna be the case, if y'all were gonna bow out,
Yeah.
say, no, we did it once, got the T-shirt and we're done. Then I think that would dictate that we have to hire a consultant to do it, because I don't think a whole new group of people coming in without the experience of doing it once before, I don't think that would be a viable alternative.
And I think there is still an option to have a consultant plus a search committee, right? I mean, there's a lot that a consultant has to learn. They have to learn what we've been through with previous administration, current administration, politics in a community, budgets. I mean, there's a lot that we're gonna have to catch them up on, right? And I think that's important in our RFP, talking to a consultant.
And I think that from having worked recently with a consultant at our church, for our fundraising, is that if you vetting consultants is the kind of the most important thing. And because I do think that one of the things that at least I think is a possibility, and because we're not hardwired to go hiring people, is it's easy to get stuck in the weeds. And like Andy said about getting, dozens and dozens of resumes coming in, and how do we filter through all of that? So,
Yeah.
So I think that, with the Friends being as generous as they are, I think that creates a good cushion for us, because I do think that culturally, we know how to get across what we are here in Blount County. But I think most consulting firms now have the ability to streamline that to help us find the best solutions. And so, I think that's something that we could kind of look towards as well.
Or, and I think also this is a terrible time of the year to be looking for somebody. Holidays are really tough to recruit. And so maybe we should be going outside and using an outside vendor as part of our search.
So, one of the reasons why we're using executive session for this is, there's a culture concern right now. I mean, we have staff that's very worried about who their next leader is. And we can't lose them, the good staff that we have. And I think the faster we can accomplish this with the right candidate, the better it is.
I think you probably can, once it's narrowed, field is narrowed.
Yeah.
To say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And the staff who work here, I'm not sure how that would be set up. I know when interviewing teachers, I put them in the classroom and I watch them for a whole day. And how they get along with the kids and what they do. But how you would do that with your staff, once you get it really honed in to, 3 or 4 that you're really serious about if you're concerned about the culture and the staff and how they get along with people, there might be a way to involve them then, get their voice at least, their opinions.
I believe we did that the last time, didn't we?
Yes.
I think we've got it down. I think we know what we're
I
doing.
think we know on that piece,
Okay.
yes.
I think we know what we're doing on all of it.
Well, yeah,
If there's a concern on the vetting.
Yeah.
Would there be a reason to have the consulting firm just weed out the people who have a little exaggerated their resumes?
it's open to us. At the end of the day, consultant or not, we are hiring, the board is hiring the executive director. So no matter what the consultant puts in front of us or not, we are the ultimate decision maker. Last time and I can let any of the members say, they did a fabulous job involving staff, I think. And I know, and I think that would be definitely recommended again next time, and we can dictate that. It's just, at the time when this all came up, it shocked us all, and we were like, how are we gonna do this? And Vandy highly recommended use a consultant and really supports it, just from the case of weeding and marketing it nationwide. But I think it's up to us.
I would be curious how much something like that costs. Because I know when the county has hired other consultants, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
But like the county just hired a consultant to do all the school stuff for $90,000.
Oh, yeah.
Give me that money and let me spend it on something else besides a consultant.
We don't know, because we haven't gotten any RFPs, because there hasn't been a board vote. What my understanding is, it's around 20, from digging more, is around $25,000.
I need to be a consultant for something, just.
Well, I've got a real wild idea of the risk of fulfilling itself. Why don't we offer the job to Anjanae? She's done it, she's here, everybody knows her, and hire an assistant director instead of. If she's willing to do it, seems to me she can slot right in and take off from day one. That's just been maybe too over simplification.
But the question that I would have towards that is, do we have to is this a job that has to be posted?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, so it's one of those, that's a fear I've got, is that we've got to do the search anyways, even if we, and ultimately, I'm not against what you said, but that's the only concern I'd have, is that you have to.
Like being a pastor can't be a permanent pastor.
We had her the last time, if she wanted to consider answering stuff.
I think Anjanae is interested in applying this time. I think that we don't know that. I mean, does she know the library well? Yes, but I think there's a lot of research that we need to do before offering a position over. And I think that's our duty to do.
And going in the outside, bringing in someone with no ideas and new thoughts is important.
I think the other thing too is to consider, obviously, and I'm new to the board, so I don't have the background working with Manny, but everything that I hear is quite successful. So in setting out the guidelines, I think consideration for the things that he does is behavior, working with staff, all of this. What is it that he specifically does? What does he believe in? What does he like that made that position successful? And those don't become the only guidelines, but they do get filtered into what the consideration is, because obviously it sounds to me like he completes the success and would be invited to stay. So I think that needs to be, what is it about Manny that everybody liked? But I'm kind of with Dawn. I'm not sure we need to spend thousands and thousands of thousands of dollars on a consulting firm to just do everything. I think we have very bright individuals sitting here with a varied backgrounds who could. The thing that I'm concerned the most about, I think, is resumes that look great and turn out to be not so great. Vetting that out and say, okay, that one goes in file 13 because not spending a whole lot of time on that. Our time is, you know, everybody's time is valuable. So that's a consideration.
Good considerations. I think the first thing I'll respond to that is in front of all you guys in your packets and ahead of time, we had the position, the job description in front of you. And that's something that we need to look at and take into consideration as we're talking through this. I have one suggestion on it. But also, Rebecca, what I'll just say to that is like, is anyone else willing to serve on the search committee with these two? I mean, because we can't, they can't do it alone. Right now.
I'm in town, I'm here, so I do travel a lot.
Anyone else? Okay. So Rebecca and Richard.
I mean, how many total are you looking for the committee? Or is there a total by number?
Last time we had 4 board members and we didn't want more community members than board members.
Right.
Wasn't that what we talked about? So.
This would
So the
be,
total
We had
of-
7, we had 7
Seven.
total.
Get too many kitchens. Cooks and
We did a lot of calling and checking, background checking on our final 10 people. Calling the libraries that they work for, talking to the people who they actually work with, getting their backgrounds and what they thought of the person. Which was interesting.
yeah.
And we eliminated some people that way. And people were very, very good to talk to you, off the cuff. And it was good. But it takes a lot of time.
It was a great process, you guys had.
Did you have a set standard of, set of questions that everybody got asked that, so there was some consistency?
We did for the final, 5 or 6 people, but not for the background checks. I don't know, people. And I think in this write-up too, I didn't see anything on drug checks or on background checks.
That's standard county,
It is.
But I think the person should know that they're gonna have.
sure, we can
Part of the
add, yeah,
advertising.
Yeah,
we can add that,
It's that it's part of the advertising.
it should be.
It is.
But I didn't see it.
This is just a job description.
Yeah.
we'll add the standard county,
Application itself through county, it has that in there, so it just doesn't have on the job description.
Right.
So for the search committee, I have Stephanie, Dawn, Rebecca, and Richard, thank you. We have recommendations from, and we can think about this. I think it's a great point, Dexter, to have someone from Alcoa, Marijuana County. That's how we handle a lot of our stuff. I know that from our funding standpoint with my work. And so if we have any nominations right now, we can bring it to the floor. We can have conversations with folks. I don't think that needs to be settled today. We need to settle today is, and this could be a motion or a vote. Do we want to handle this internally or with consultant? And I will say, we used the Friends funding last time for the search. We used around $9,000, we'll say, for flights, transportation, dinners, such. So the funding from the Friends was passed preemptively because we know we're gonna have to use some kind of funding for marketing, et cetera. It's up to us on how we want to use it. And so it will get utilized. The county is gonna pay for the job posting with the national library. Help me out,
The
maybe.
American Library Association's listserv and job.
Yes. Yes, and so anything beyond that, we're gonna have to use funding for, so. Do we have any discussion or consideration or vote on internal versus external? Or motion?
Looking at Dawn and Stephanie.
I'm not gonna make a motion for myself.
Yeah, me either.
Well, then I'll make a motion, and again, I'll echo the previous comment, I've not had good result with consultants past. I think it's a extraneous level of effort, and you don't get the bang for the buck, spend money. So I would make a motion that we do it internal.
A second.
With the stipulation that that is willingness and desire of the two that have previously done it.
A second again.
Including yourself then.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a big, huge task and, I think we can meet outside of that, but let's talk now timeline. And I'm bringing this up because, to be very general here, we really need, to move quicker, rather than slower. And yes, the holidays are challenging, but good folks who are ready to make moves to good positions are looking. And I think we can always say summer's bad or XYZ is bad. And so I think, are you guys okay with us? Let's look at the job description. My only request is that, you must have a library,
I think a level 5, Nikki, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's on the standards
It is.
here, is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
With level 5, I think they recommend a master's degree in library science.
okay. So have you had any other master or level 3 folks say or equivalent?
We have had that included, but we do not have another level 5 library that I'm aware of that has a non-degreed leader. Memphis, which is a metro, has a director who does not have a master's in library science. Maybe Clarksville, Montgomery, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but it's a recommendation. Not a rule, but a recommendation, and for good reason. So it's up to y'all if you want to include it or look at some kind of equivalent, like an MBA or some other nonprofit management or something like that, but.
So, and this is open to discussion. My thought is something and or equivalent. So this is a very when it comes to management of staff, when it comes to management within the community and elected officials, when it comes to fundraising, I think that if there is the right person with an equivalent degree who really leans on staff to be the experts, they can accomplish a lot of these qualifications. But I'm open to thoughts.
How would you delineate the equivalent? Would it be an MBA? What would be, how would we put that?
What has been recommended to me would be master's degree and or prior service preferred.
Masters in anything, because that's what I'm saying, because that might open the aperture to applicants even more.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to accelerate the process, so that's what I was leaning, what would be the equivalent, I'm all for it, but what type of equivalent degree would you be talking about?
Well, I guess the thing, just off the top of my head, you've got somebody with a master's that doesn't have any library kind of experience. It doesn't particularly matter, but if they've got a master's, say an MBA, but they have been, they've been involved in management of a library, then
Yeah, but I don't think that's what Lauren's saying.
No, it is,
So it would have to be experience in the library.
no, and or management of personnel.
Well, the second bullet point says 7 years of public library experience with at least 7 years of supervisory or management experience. So
So
Yeah.
you've already
that right there in
stipulated that.
itself is,
So you're right,
I think that's gonna help kind of weed,
yeah, that's right.
weed stuff
One
out.
of the applicants we had before was a director over branch libraries and had all kinds of library experience as a director of branch libraries, but no experience handling people within the library. And so that was somebody we threw out, but you know, you're gonna get those kind of people who has all kinds of experience, but you wanna make sure that we don't take those kind of people.
Right, and I think in the interview process, I think that becomes pretty self-explanatory, or at least I hope so.
I don't want to speak for the staff, but I'm thinking, it's at least library science degree is probably really important.
Can I ask, what does I'm sorry, it was ML? I can't say. Library science, what you just said.
To having somebody, it's wonderful to trust the staff and delegate them and know that they're gonna do their work. But if they don't have that library background, they may not be able to evaluate the effectiveness of what the staff are doing, you know, so.
Fair, the
It's
recommendation
completely up
brought
to
to
you all,
me, I just needed to vet it out through, you guys and everybody, yeah.
I think it needs to be a master in library science and period.
For the sake of the staff, they've got to feel like.
Yeah.
You know, this person coming in.
Yeah.
And has experience and know-how as to what needs to be done. There may be things that are different here than their previous position. But they're not going into it blind.
Is 7 years a good number? Do we wanna put 5? Do we want to put 7 years?
Seven is fine.
Yeah, I think that's not gonna narrow the field too much. And I would hope that that 7 would be on the very low end of
I think that was one of the discussions we had. Previous.
It's what the old English apprentice service was saying. This is a good position.
Is there anything else that folks saw throughout the job description? This is our chance right now, and the mayor's office really asked us to take a good look at it.
I had a question on the benefits.
That's what I was
Yeah. What's an employee clinic and what are employee discounts that they get?
We get, the Blount County employees can use ETMG walk-in clinic for free.
ETMG.
ETMG, we can go there for free. Yeah,
On Joel.
we don't get much. It's nice to have that benefit.
And the, like a.
That's nice.
And one of the.
What discounts?
We do, yeah.
What discounts do they get?
Like I paid $5 for one of my prescriptions, that's $40-something normally. So, you know, prescription medicines are sometimes free, or cheaper or free or.
That for educators as well? Okay.
I think most people that are county employees
Right.
kind of fall under that.
We gave a packet of all of the employee or all of the county benefits that went out with the resumes that we accepted.
My question was more basic than that, actually. And that's, would that be on the position description, or is that part of the advertisement from the county?
Part of the advertisement, is that right?
Part of the packet that they got.
So would it need to be on the description?
Okay, we could, are you asking to remove it?
Yeah,
Or see county benefits
Right.
or?
On the job posting itself,
Correct.
it would be on that.
Right,
Okay.
To remove it from this actual document.
that's what I,
And that would be something.
Unless
that
that's
we would need to
required by
talk to
HR.
Yes,
Okay,
because
yeah,
they do
okay.
I
that.
think that may be.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They approve all the
job
Yeah.
descriptions,
Yeah.
and so
let's
they,
say jobs, when you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
PDs for them, that's part of the HR thing, they don't want you messing with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll check with HR on that piece. Everything else, does everyone agree with staying the same? Do we agree with posting this job description in November?
I'm sorry, what's your question again?
Do we agree with posting it in November?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is there a downside to that? I found, is that a loaded question?
No, I was hitting it all.
Let's work backwards just a minute.
Yeah,
When does the board want to be able to offer someone a job?
So what's
At
the,
what month?
Yeah, what timeline?
Well,
I mean,
what was the time frame previously?
Oh, gosh.
It was 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
we started
But
in 1st of May,
Yeah, we said 6 months.
and we did not post the job until like September 1st or something.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of work to do. We've done that work now. We can rely on what we've done previously, so we can squeeze that quite a bit.
I think Stephanie and I are gonna become consultants.
then try to swing up.
You know, we want to get feedback from the staff about qualities of the person that we're looking for. We've got all that information, the surveys that we did previously. Things may have changed since, I think our needs are different now than they were 3 years ago. So we want to get feedback from staff for sure. Yes.
So we know time is of the essence, is what we've heard from staff.
I would say nothing would get done much in December.
I'm thinking either March 1 or April 1, probably, I'd say April 1 might be kind of a good, I mean, that's a little less than 5 months.
Is that when you want to do interviews, April 1?
Oh, no, offer the position by April 1, if that's,
Offering a
that's-
position April 1, okay, so we'll work back
April
April
1st.
1st then.
Okay,
if we get it done earlier, then okay, wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
okay,
So we could post that job pretty quickly.
yeah, we can.
And then,
probably
How long?
start interviews in January.
I think we can, yeah.
If
We
anybody
can
who's
start that
interested in
weeding
this is gonna,
process, get
we
it
don't have
down.
to get through the holidays and stuff
Yeah,
too, you know.
And I think just the dynamics of traveling are gonna be crazy before the first of January anyway.
Getting somebody here to interview.
yeah, if we're offering April 1, if we back that up, then they're traveling. I do in early March, late February. Because of the time that we took.
Yeah.
So they met with staff, they met with board, they met with county commissioners. It was a few days, 2 days.
2 days, which I think was too long.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I think we can shorten that
shorten that
process
some.
too.
Yeah, me too. And considering they're employed, they're taking off 2 days of work for a job they may or may not get, you know, and so being considerate of that too. I like April 1, if everyone else,
How does that, you all have input in that? How does that sound to you all?
So, while we're still in executive session, we'd like to make an official statement as a board to staff. As we go through this transition, we're here for you guys, our doors are always open. As Stephanie and I as chair, co-chair, you can have our cell phone numbers, you can email us with any praise, with any negativity, with any concerns. If you want to come to us or to HR, we want to hear it all. We want to make sure it's smooth and that everyone feels comfortable here at work. We'll both be attending the staff meeting next week, the morning session, the afternoon session. And so we'll be available after if you guys want to come meet with us. And then anytime, I was here today meeting with staff and yesterday. So anytime that you guys want. their staff I don't know if any of you guys are staff advocates, but also please share that as well. And this will go out to staff tomorrow, so we're here for you guys. And the whole board too. So you have our emails and the whole, if you want to email us individually, you can. Yeah. All right, if we want to let Manny back in. Okay, so we're gonna move on with we'll let Manny know when he comes back in, kind of what we're doing. Moving on with an internal search, with April 1 is the date, and thank you guys for all volunteering. And that took a lot of discussion, it was important.
People out in the community,
Yeah.
other community members.
How do we want to handle that? And we need a, we talked about Alcoa, Marable in the county. And I think a nonprofit's still good. Do we want to send that? How do you want to do that? Email ideas, ask them about them yourselves or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone else has ideas with folks, just shoot them. We talked about the Foundation of the Friends having a seat too. And sorry, that's flown over my mind with all of this. If there's anyone that you think that needs to be part of that, Manny and I talked about that, a Friends member, foundation member, and then we're gonna involve staff in a different capacity. So if you think of anyone, they don't have to be part of the whole search process if they don't have the time. I think however they can serve, and then I'm gonna talk with Andy about it as well.
We did not have a member of the Friends last time or foundation. But they were involved in the whole process, so we did involve them and they came to the interviews and we surveyed them as well, so we just didn't have anybody. And we don't want a huge committee, but.
Yeah.
But I don't think you wanna have a committee that is made up of board people who are, or people who are responsible for the library some way. I think you need some outside people also.
Yeah, but the Friends are funding a considerable amount of the search,
That's okay.
and the foundation we worked with the executive director to fundraise. So I think they need to play a large role, but towards the end, with interviews and such.
They could be advisory from people, but I think you need outside people.
Yeah. Will you pass along a name or two? Okay. All right, back to our next item, community board display and digital signage policy. Okay. All have this in your packet. Manny, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're gonna do an internal search without.
Okay.
Okay, in your packet is the collection development and meeting policy.
What she meant, Manny, was we're the committees.
Yeah.
To do it.
Okay, I saw my face, yes,
Look on your
I
face.
got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
like we did last. time.
Internal, external, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, external led by the internal. Internal board, sorry. I thought you were looking at me because we were totally going in that direction. Okay, does anyone have any comments on this policy?
You're talking the collection and weeding.
Yeah,
Okay.
She said that.
Digital signage.
Digital
Oh,
signage.
digital
So
signage.
the- Oh, yeah, collection development, collection.
no, I'm doing some my thing, okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with all of the collection development and meeting material policy.
I make a motion that we accept that policy.
Second, when we get this.
Seconded by Richard, okay, any discussion?
Well, I was gonna say, I would recommend, on the purpose, on the first two sentences in the second paragraph. And then also on the philosophy of selection, that full second paragraph. Consider deleting those. Because it's somewhat redundant when you look, it's already covered under, the the appendices B, C, and D. And then it's also covered under the statement of concern. And it doesn't really lend to the purpose of the policy.
So you're stating to delete the purpose?
No, the purpose, the collection of it, that's all fine. But then as it says, as community changes, BCPL evaluates those first two sentences. And then again, that other paragraph that says BCPL so upholds the right of the individual to secure information that goes on there. I think when you go back and read, because of the policy saying this is what the policy is, this is how we're gonna do it. And then you go through to the next section, statement of concern, then it addresses, okay, if you have concerns, we have a process by which you can address those concerns. And then the portion that's really covered, the gist of that is all covered in the appendices, the Bill of Rights, the freedom of to read statement, as well as the freedom to view statement.
I apologize. So clarify for me what it is that you're wanting, or that you're discussing to delete.
Just, and again, this is just my background, we write policies, it's clear, concise, bullet format and to the point. And that's those sentences there in that paragraph,
Which sentence?
it says, as the community changes, BCPL evaluates and goes on those two sentences
The
there.
first two sentences of the second paragraph.
And then that first on the page 2, that paragraph starting BCPL upholds the right of the individual to secure information. So those statements don't really lend to
Just the first paragraph, just the first sentence of that paragraph,
that whole paragraph,
the whole paragraph.
right?
But that has it says that you review it annually, and the next one does not say that. So you'd have to have that back.
No, I'm saying to leave that one.
Oh,
Where it says
leave that,
annually.
leave
Yeah,
that.
you leave that,
Oh,
so it's
leave
just those
that.
first two sentences.
Okay.
Can I just give my thoughts on?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Purpose, I would keep that in there because right off the bat, if you have someone that does have an issue with the book, they're reading it right off the bat. And I like how it hammers it again with the statement of concern philosophy. Other libraries do the same exact thing. It's reinforcement.
Yeah,
I like the philosophy a lot.
Yeah.
I can reason with you on the purpose, with first two sentences on the purpose statement. And you're asking, what you're asking is to completely delete those.
the first two sentences in the second paragraph of the purpose. And then that paragraph on the second page. Because your side, the philosophy of selection, all of that is covered in those appendices that you're referencing.
Point to us where does it say that a balanced collection that represents controversial issues, where, and everything it says below, diverse viewpoints, et cetera, where is that stated?
In the, specifically in the Library Bill of Rights or in the freedom to read
This
statement?
policy.
My point is that you read this and when you look at policies, they're supposed to be telling staff and telling public, this is what we do. This is how we collect materials and this is how we weed through materials. And then the references as to the rationale, that's what's contained in these appendices for reference. That's why we reference, correct?
Like,
Yeah, I read
library
through-
policies are a different world than anything
No, I
else.
read,
And I know
I read
you worked
through
at a,
over 30 policies, and I've got some samples here that from various universities and city public libraries and county libraries. I read through.
right, and what I could do to counter you, excuse me, is find you policies, the same amount that has all that information in there.
I understand, but
Nobody,
Good
most
point.
people will not read the Library Bill of Rights.
So
Yeah,
they're gonna read this right here,
yeah.
and that's all they're gonna read.
Yeah.
They're not gonna read the back pages back here.
So I would defer, but I would ask, because a question on folks who have had challenges on collection development and what you pointed to when you were answering the challenges.
The problem is, and actually Dawn brought up, they don't read any of this.
Yeah.
To be perfectly frank, when they're challenging a book, they don't care about any of this.
So
They have a
help.
further mission. It helps the mission of the library, that's reinforcement, yeah. That's why libraries create policies like that. So, because if we didn't, we'd be in a whole different situation.
So this is helping staff.
understand that. And this,
We just went through a
We
lot.
appreciate you
Yeah.
reading through.
Yeah.
no, I got it,
Yeah.
but just a different school of thought on policies, on how policies are written, the guidelines.
You have to think about, this is coming from an educator. You have to think about the comprehension level of your community. And what they're going to read and how they're going to comprehend this. And they're gonna read this first page, if they read anything, they're gonna read this first page, and they're not gonna read anything past that first page. And when they get to that word that says Appendix A, they're done, if they even read that far. I think it's very important that we leave it the way we have it right here, just because that is our purpose of this policy.
I don't know if folks are gonna read it or not,
They're not going
but
to.
we don't know.
It's for our,
But it helps staff and it sticks to our mission, it sticks to the Bill of Rights. If you wanna make a motion, we can discuss it further, but.
No, that's
Okay.
fine, that's fine.
Anything else?
I had a question on page 6, last sentence. The decision from the library board of trustees is binding for 1 year. Why is it just 1 year?
So I asked for additional years and it seemed like, and this was a question I asked Liz, because I wanted to extend it.
Yes.
And it seems like the average for a public library is 1 year.
And it's also, as much as book challenges are not fun, it is the right of those readers to challenge a book. And so you have to open it back up, even though it's painful to do so. It's part of the process.
I asked the same thing.
You're not gonna change your mind, I don't think.
You may, depending on new leadership and different boards, I mean,
Yeah.
but that's up to the current board of trustees. Okay, can we have a motion, do we have a motion to, we can continue to discuss, but to adopt the policy?
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? This is just our first read, right?
No, this is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is next year.
Yeah, you're right, we're gonna hold them. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion. Now we're moving into new business and we are going to take a look at the first read of the community board display and digital signage policy. The staff has presented, you can see some changes or proposed changes in red. Anything major that you guys wanna address?
I don't think so. I think the public relations team was cleaned up some areas of the policy. I mean, overall, it remains the same with just some additional language here and there.
We'll vote on this next month, or the next meeting. I didn't find anything.
Okay.
The only thing I'll say again, it goes to policy guidance procedures, and that's the format. I would just like keep the format the same like on this one. There's no purpose statement. On the next one, genealogy, there's a purpose, the aforementioned one on weeding, there's a purpose statement. Keeping formats same makes it easy on the staff and reading, comprehending. So I would say let's keep the format consistent as we go through.
Salad. Have we had a purpose statement on it prior,
Yeah,
or you want staff to draft a purpose statement to look at and vote on next time, or?
Again, the consistency as you go through all your policy, I think having consistency of format helps them go through them and understand.
And ease of the user, yeah.
We had a couple of questions on the presentation. What does the business cards have to do with the painting that are given to the library?
I think people want to know more about the
That
artwork.
well,
They can contact the artists themselves.
Well, if they wanted to purchase something, because you can't put the amount.
Yeah, you
on
can't
it.
put the
Yeah.
price on it, but you can hear, yeah.
right, and then on restrictions, why was that second paragraph taken out? The reason I was bringing that up is if people want to donate to the flood that just happened, they can't do that if you take that all out.
I think the reason behind that is we get many inquiries about doing a coat drive or hand drive. And if you say yes to one, then you have to say yes to everybody. So I think that's where we were going. We weren't like something specific like the flood or heaven forbid there was a fire or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You wanted to say something about
Natural-
related to
natural
special, yeah.
disasters or something.
Mhm.
I mean, the library would be a great place for people to bring and donate if there's a natural disaster, especially in the city of Maryland.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, yeah. I think we could edit the language to say,
Yeah, something.
and we could say up to director's discretion too.
Yeah, exactly. It could be in the cities.
Right, because I think that would take away we wanna do toys for tots or have a coat drive or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever,
Right.
have every, always have a big bin there, but
yeah.
Yeah, we don't wanna do that.
Thank you, Nancy. Anything else?
The same thing on no fundraising, page 3. You wanna be able to take care of people from natural disasters. Under community board announcements, there's no fundraising on the community board, which I agree with. I have no problem with that, but if you wanna say there's a natural disaster, can you do that?
But I think that the purpose, because I see where you're coming from, but I think when I think of fundraising, I'm thinking about kids
Selling
selling
bake sales.
bake sales or
Exactly.
Girl Scouts or something.
Yeah.
So I think I think that if there's a disaster or, something like that, then I think that goes into the donations more than as a repository for donations more so than that.
So do we need to say that's a library executive or executive director's discretion as well there?
Right, I mean, I think that would be enough of an umbrella.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Their first look, so. We can take time and bring anything back next month. Okay, let's move on to local history and genealogy, collection development and reading materials policy. This is our first look at this as well. Staff has recommended changes in red. Do you guys have anything significant to comment on here?
Again, I think we're just cleaning up, adding some language or vernacular to it.
We like the format of this one. I think it's a great point, it's a valid point. Anything else? I thought it was good. Yeah. it's valid. And staff, for the board, is staff consulted with, and I think that's something good to share, you know, you consult with the staff in these departments on these policies.
Exact, so this policy, the genealogy collection, we consult with Kathy. Admin will consult with Kathleen in the past, Sarah, we do that with whatever policy is in their wheelhouse. Rebecca, definitely with patron services,
Yeah.
regulation policies.
And thank you, I mean, yeah, I think it's really good for the board to know that.
Oh yeah, this is not a one
Yeah,
man crew here, this is involved.
okay, if there's nothing else, we'll move on to the Friends funding request, anything else? Okay, Manny, I'll turn over the Friends funding request for you to kind of go over
Oh, sure.
what's being discussed here.
So the first item would be for the youth services department. And their chairs are, as Chelsea has put it, quite old and in disrepair, and that's being kind with those chairs. So they were looking at chairs for the staff of the department.
I think it's a great recommendation, and then there's one more that we wanna.
Yeah. It is and I can't really explain what this contraption does, but it's a thermo rebind system.
It's
You
a
would-
book repair.
It's for book repairs, yeah.
Yes. To kind of speed it up and not have to do so much stuff by hand, but it's actually like it's a big glue stick you can put in.
Yeah.
Put pages into it, and stick it, yeah. And that's recommended by Meg Halter, who does so much of our book repair for us. She's got a lot of looking into that.
And what's interesting with this, on the Tennessee Library's listserv, that's been a hot topic, who has one? This past couple of weeks.
We do.
Yeah.
You haven't been back there to see the book finding, it's really interesting.
And I know the Friends of the Library are very excited about this too, because they utilize it as well, as my understanding.
They can, yes, it'll be mostly for the circulating
Okay.
books, but certainly if they have something that they think would improve eBay chances, they will have full
Or
access
maybe
to it.
does some of their time get donated to helping with book repair for our.
We have
collection?
friends who come up and do that,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
So
what
they're
my
up here
understanding
working.
was.
They're doing actual work of the library. Yes.
Okay, so we have to vote on these funding requests, okay, can we,
A question on the chairs,
Yeah.
how many chairs are you talking about? And I went back and looked at the chairs. And some of the
Yeah.
chairs are high and some of the chairs are low, so
Yeah,
and they recommended 3 highs and 2 lows. How many did you?
so it's all together, there's one low, and I know that's for Chelsea Charwood, she likes, her desk is
Oh.
behind the
Yeah.
youth services desk, and then the other 3 are for staff. But she works, even though she has an office, she likes to work at the lower.
One area is low though, so they need low chairs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
are all these chairs, I'm not sure this one is adjustable.
it looks like.
I mean, they look like they are, but I'm not sure if they are.
That's true, you know what, yeah, they're the same ones in patron services, that's right, and they do have that adjustable.
So, the ladies told me that some of the ladies don't like arms, so are their arms removable?
It's coming from
I don't know, I guess
staff, they
it looks like you
recommended
can
it,
screw
there's.
If they, so Chelsea spoke to her staff about this, and they like these chairs, so I guess they're pro arms.
They picked in their 4 chairs. They're very excited about it. It came from their selection. It's like picking out your own shoes.
Okay,
Next motion, we approve the chairs and send that on to the friends.
So,
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, I'm excited to get them that, and that also did that include the binding? Okay, so we need a separate, okay.
I'm sorry, I have a question here. You said $1,076, 5 chairs and two name chairs. Four chairs?
Yeah, 4 chairs.
One kind improved the other.
one of the 299 through
Okay,
250. It says
but you have 5 chairs back there.
They're requesting for.
Or yeah, the other one, I think Steve is in the other chair,
The
skeleton.
staff.
Yeah. Yes,
Steve doesn't need a new chair.
yeah, Steve's good with the chair.
Steve's good.
Maybe that chair is,
Yeah,
yeah, it's from them.
He doesn't care.
yeah.
Bless him.
You don't need to without you.
You're super kind, yeah. Okay, and then can we get a motion, please, to approve the thermal binding?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that's great. I'm excited to pass these on. I wish staff would ask more things. Especially if you're uncomfortable in your chair. Okay. 2 things in closing. One, we have received a letter of resignation from Andy, from the Board of Trustees. And Andy, I can't believe that we got that from you, and I heard it previously. And so Andy, you'll be leaving in December now.
Yep.
And you've served for how long?
7 years.
7 years. And you have taken the staff and the library through very transitional periods of time, with a lot of finesse and leadership. And so you're gonna be sorely missed.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Been great working with terrific staff.
We'll miss you.
I know you'll miss
Thank
COVID and roof replacement and I can't even think of all the
It's
things.
been interesting.
Christmas Eve flood and,
The water leak.
yeah.
And then in closing, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have a celebration for Manny at with staff potluck at 12:30. Staff has it, I think, from 11 to 4, 11 to 3, but we've opened it up to the Board of Trustees at 12:30 to wish our fearless leader goodbye. It's been such a joy working with you. Manny and I shared beers last week, and I wish we would have had no, just more sessions together. I'm gonna miss you. I can't think of anyone better to work with, and so I'm gonna pass it over to anyone else.
Well, he didn't respond to my text. I said, can you not give us another month or 2 months? So I'm assuming that's a no.
Yeah, I'll be a week from now driving up there, so I wish I could.
Yeah, well, we will miss you.
Well, before we end the board meeting, I have something to read. I'm gonna go in front just to make you that much more uncomfortable.
I need that drink.
I'm not even gonna use it. So this is a letter not from me alone, but from the hearts of your entire BCPL family. To Manny, our fearless leader, as we bid you farewell, we can't help but reflect on the amazing things you've brought to the Blount County Public Library, but also the amazing things that make you you. The great Reba McEntire said, To succeed in life, you need three things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. Now, she's no Dolly Parton, but she's not wrong. And you, sir, have all three. Your vision, strength, and lightheartedness have been healing for us all. Over the past 2 years, 9 months, and 12 days, but who's counting, at BCPL, you've been welcoming, encouraging, and supportive. You've taken on challenges and eased tensions with your kindness, good humor, and strong leadership. Your incredible ability to connect with each of us, whether through lively staff meetings, conversations about sports, the get to know you questions during admin planning. Sorry we shocked you with our crazy food. Or you simply taking the time to chat with staff. You have fostered an environment of camaraderie that we will deeply, deeply miss. I may go so far as to say that we will even miss your practical jokes, such as the time you put a for sale sign on Rebecca's car when he was away at training. FYI, she kept the sign to remember you by. We can't thank you enough for all that you have done behind the scenes to protect the sanctity of our workplace. Your calm and fair-minded approach to challenges, whether addressing book controversies or managing unexpected drama, has been inspirational. We look forward to reading your book one day. You just can't make this stuff up. Your dedication to this community has been unwavering. You've defended our commitment to freedom of information, yet still respected differing opinions. You've offered the citizens of Blount County the chance to grow by embracing the diversity in their own backyard. You've made such an impact here. Staff will specifically miss the way you invest in our lives. Your conversations about comics, foreign films, and quirky bands always bring laughter and joy. Your effortless guidance shows us how to relate to people in a positive way. Your management style calms fears, and any praise given is not unfounded. You've earned it. You may think of yourself as a lone wolf, but you've had a pack behind you for 2+ years, and we will miss you dearly. We hope your new staff welcomes you with warmth, kindness, and an appropriate amount of healthy banter. They are fortunate to have you as their leader. Thank you for being a courageous friend and a source of positivity in our lives. William Wordsworth wrote, "The best portion of a good man's life is his little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and of love." I hope this letter proves that your acts of kindness and love, however, will be remembered. You have left an indelible mark on BCPL, and your legacy will continue to inspire us. We wish you all the best. Your BCPL family.
Sounds like a good job description.
Been waiting to hear that. Okay, well, would anyone like to make a motion to entertain Mandy's last meeting here?
I think Rebecca's car's still for sale.
Well, I'm gonna miss you.
You're done. Yeah.
We need a motion.
Well, we do. It's the next meeting.
Oh, well, I don't think we need to meet in December since we have discussed our next steps. We will post job immediately and we will, so we've eliminated that. And so our next meeting is January.
20th is MLK Day, so.
But we meet on Tuesday.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So 21st is fine.
Yeah, I have the 21st now, January.
Come on, Sean.
I know.
Sean, just because you can't remember the day.
I did have an excuse. I wasn't here last month.
January 21st at 5:30 will be our next board meeting unless there's any objection to that. And we have, we have Andy seat to fill. We need to do some work on filling some of these seats. So have discussions with your, with the folks that you serve and for some upcoming leadership, because that's a real big need. All right, a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Right, we're adjourned.